Hello all and welcome, and I am the MGTOW philosopher. And in this video, I would like to talk about a Japanese man who says he prefers his sex doll over his wife. Now, first of all, I'm looking at the guy in the picture here in his sex doll. He looks like he's in his mid to late 40s. So his wife is going to be around his same age, which means she's going to be a fat hag. And then look at the sex doll. I can already tell from the skirt that she got a nice ass. That's all I need. And I'm willing to guess his wife does not. Otherwise, he would prefer her over the sex doll. That's very weird. He's taking it out in public. Aren't those things heavy? Don't they have like metallic bones and shit and metal rods, and silicone ain't light. Thing's got to weigh at least 100 pounds or something. Jesus. Interesting. I'm wondering how he moves it around or something. Well, let's see what he has to say, shall we? After my wife gave birth, we stopped having sex, and I felt a deep sense of loneliness. Okay, guys, here you go. And this is why Japan has all the problems that it does, because the women there do not fulfill their marriage obligations. Of course, that's often the case with most women. At some point, some of us get bored of our relationships or marriages. Things cool off, but we aren't prepared for the lack of fire between us. Must be a woman writing this. The difference is that some of us stick together and get through the tough times, while others prefer other strategies. So she's immediately showing her bias, saying that it's you should be sticking together and not doing something this heinous and deviant as getting a sex doll. Oh, this horrible guy, even though his wife won't have sex with him. And for one man, he chose the latter. This man prefers the sex doll over his wife and decided to begin a new relationship with her. Let's check this out. Oh, man. Well, the sex doll's hot. I mean, she's hot. There's just no question. I mean, good Lord, look at the legs. I mean, the perfect body. And the sex doll will have a perfect body forever, unlike your wife. Masayuki Ozaki, a physiotherapist in Japan, chose to get comfy with a silicone sex doll, and he's pretty happy about it. I bet he is. This isn't just a cheap inflatable doll either. It's a $6,000 doll with realistic genitals and nearly 2,000 remain sold. 6,000. That's one of the more expensive ones I've heard of. And yeah, looking at her face and everything, the features look lifelike. It looks much better than some of the other American-made sex dolls I've seen. I guess the Japanese are pioneers in this industry. Japan men find true love with sex dolls. This is why by like 2047 or something, their population will be like half of what it is now or something, or it's going to like drop significantly. Their population is dropping big time. It's just because these Japanese women, they don't do what they're supposed to do in the bedroom. And by the way, Japan is one of the most advanced cultures on earth, which should tell you something. The more advanced the culture is, the less women seem inclined to do what they're supposed to do. Ozaki and his doll named Mayu do everything together. They even share a bed in the same house as his daughter and wife. So he doesn't sleep with his wife? Holy shit. What's with the wife? Why is she tolerating it? Oh, right. She doesn't give a shit. She's just happy to have him pay the bills. Jeez, look at that bedroom. That's a pretty nice setup there. He must make some good money. Well, there you go. That's why she's tolerating it. She lives a good life. He makes good money, and that's all there is to it. After my wife gave birth, we stopped having sex. Yeah, there you go. Typical of a woman. Once she gets you dialed in and you have to pay the bills, she's got you by the balls, and she doesn't have to do anything anymore. Yeah, I bet he was lonely, and he should be. His wife is essentially not fulfilling her obligations. He says that the first time he laid eyes on Mayu, it was love at first sight. I don't know about that. I wouldn't feel love for a sex doll. That's a little bizarre, I have to admit. I mean, you want to fuck it, but, well, okay, maybe it's just lust we're talking about, but he's an older guy. I don't know. I guess he's just that thirsty that this sex doll actually being there available and allowing him to bang it without complaining it has a headache. That's true love for him. Well, to each his own, I guess. He also says his wife wasn't too happy about the new arrangement. Well, she's essentially lost all power she has over him in the day-to-day goings-on of their relationship because she can't use sex anymore as a lever or a bargaining tool. So, yeah, I bet she's really not happy. But notice she's still there. And you saw that apartment. Yeah, you can already tell from that apartment he makes good money. My wife was furious when I first brought Mayu home. These days she puts up with it reluctantly. Of course, she wants the money, buddy. Ozaki's teenage daughter isn't too fond of Mayu either, but she says she's now old enough to share clothes with her. Oh, I bet the teenage daughter is not happy at all. Yeah. It sounds like the mother's a cunt, so the mother raised the daughter to be a bitch as well. So, daughter's a bitch too. Big shocker. He admits that human relationships turn him off. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Listen to who he's married to. There's a broad that won't have sex with him after they had a kid. You're talking about teenage daughter, 13, 14, 15 or more years of sporadic or no sex. Yeah, I would kind of be turned off of human relationships too. A bitch like that is my wife. Ah, there's how he gets it around. It's a wheelchair. It's hilarious. And this must be acceptable in Japan. I think in Japan they're a little more cosmopolitan, a little more sophisticated, because from what I've read, there's a lot of guys doing this sex doll thing now, and he got a wheelchair to cart it around. That's hilarious. Oh my God. And according to the New York Post, during a stroll with Mayu, he claimed Japanese women are cold-hearted. By the way, that's all women, but, you know, the more advanced the society is, the more they're able to explore that cold-heartedness. The more comfortable they can be on their own, the more they feel they don't need a man, so the less that they're willing to do for him. Ozaki isn't the only man to turn to a sex doll in a time of need. Yeah, I bet. Senji Nakajima takes his doll Saori on skiing and surfing trips. Okay, this is a little bizarre. I think he's just taking it because he wants to bang it. You know, he just wants to have it available to fuck. That's fine. He wants to have it available to have sex with. Nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, I think it would be a little weird. Does he have to buy a ticket for it on the plane? How's that work? I mean, if he goes on a plane, he has to buy a second ticket for his doll? Or does it go into steerage? Or does it go into the storage or the under the plane? Very unusual. I don't know. I don't know that I would trust it to the people loading the plane, because unless it's boxed up or something and locked up, some of them guys doing the loading of luggage might just take some... you know, they might take some liberties with the doll. I wouldn't blame them either. That's a hot doll. Nakajima says that his new romance divided his house and family, that his wife was actually banned Sayori from the house. Ah, you pussy, you. Insist. What's she going to do, leave you? You'd be better off. Nakajima says his relationship, my son accepts it, my daughter can't. Of course. The boy knows, the man knows, the girl... She's just a young bitch, just like mommy, who resents the fact that her vagina is no longer powerful, that there's something coming out that can basically take her place. So even as a teenager, she knows, well, I don't know how old the daughter is, actually. This doesn't say. This is a different guy. I don't know about this. He's taking it surfing? Wouldn't the salt water damage the silicone and it's going to get into all the orifices? I don't know. This seems a little strange. If I had a sex doll, I certainly wouldn't be taking it on trips or having some kind of like close relationship with it. It would be in like a box or something, or it'd be under the bed in a box. It would be in some kind of like zip-tied giant bag with like desiccates or something in it, so it didn't get like mold or something growing in the silicone. And then when I like needed to bang it, I'd pull it out and then I'd put it back. I wouldn't be having like an actual human relationship with it. That's a little weird. But anyway, some men who begin relationships with sex dolls are lucky to have understanding families who are accepting it, but others aren't so lucky and end up dividing their household. Why? Why? You know she's got dildos in that drawer out the yin-yang. She got vibrators. She's got dildos, which is even worse than a sex doll if you ask me, because she's essentially symbolically emasculating a man and using what is nothing more than a representation of his penis chopped off and using it on herself. How is that any different than a doll? It's no different. So there you have it. The Japanese are light years ahead. Well, the Japanese men are light years ahead, it seems, in figuring out the problem of frigid wives. Of course, pampered Western American women probably, by and large, wouldn't tolerate this, and since it's so easy for them to divorce and steal half their man's money, this would be the only excuse they would need to essentially do that. How nice. But in Japan, they have different divorce laws, apparently, and so guys have a little more freedom to essentially continue to explore their masculinity and be sexual creatures even after they're married, which usually precludes that because women become frigid bitches once they get married. I like it, and the doll is hot. I mean, hey, yeah. Let me go back to that first picture. The face is just, wow. Damn, look at that. She's beautiful. And it looks real. This is probably one of the most realistic ones I've seen. And, of course, $6,000. Yeah. I don't get the whole take it out in public thing. I mean, maybe he just did that for the photo shoot, but the guy actually has a wheelchair for it, so he must take it with him more places than just, the park. I mean, he's kind of anthropomorphized it, and he clearly looks at it as some kind of person and has some kind of connection with it. That's a little bizarre, and he sleeps with it. That's weird. But again, to each his own. He's not hurting anybody else. And, of course, in the West, this isn't going to fly. Western women are going to do everything they can do to ban it with excuses that, it encourages rape. No evidence of that. Let's just make that shit up. Let's just make it up. Oh, yeah, some of these dolls have rape settings where it resists you, so now that could encourage men to rape more. No evidence. Just like no evidence when people claim that violent video games, back in the 90s and early 2000s caused more violence. No evidence, but, people come to these what they consider to be gut feeling, intuitive conclusions that must be true. Without any evidence, of course. It's very interesting. Not a bad doll. I wouldn't mind having that doll for sure. Anyhow, very interesting story. I thought you guys might enjoy it. Oh, that is a very nice position. Nice ass on that doll. Anyhow, I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.